one of the steps which we'll be using to implement it in Python. Okay, so first step would be like implementing y equal to 1 by 1 plus e power theta transpose x, right? This will be the first step. All right, so once we have done it, so what will be the next step is like so next step would be okay, now y is ready. Next step is we have to implement the loss function. So what is the loss function what we have? So it's this bigger one, right? Like okay, where is it? Is this one, right? Y actual log this. So let's write that part. Minus of it will be sum of all. There will be average, like just like how we have done. Like if you have like 100 data points, like you calculate loss for each of the data points, and finally take an average of all those data points, right? So 1 by n into minus is there, like I kept it before. Okay, so let me write that, and then minus 1 by n and sigma. The loss is like y actual.
So again disconnected, Raju.
So y actual log of y prediction minus, sorry, plus 1 minus y actual log of 1 minus y prediction, right? So this is the formula like which we have to implement in our like no, in our code, and this y is actually y prediction. Okay, so y actual will be given in the data itself, and this will be y prediction. So apart from this, so what will be the third step is gradient descent. So but surprisingly, like if you remember gradient descent, this will be theta plus theta world minus alpha is a learning rate into d by d theta of this loss function, right? So if you put loss function as e, it will be like this. So but if you are like previously, if you remember, our loss function is something like y minus y actual minus y prediction square under this one and whole power n. Like this is easy to differentiate, right? But now this is changed. Now we have to calculate differentiation for this log function. So okay, so instead of me doing it directly, like there is a website where there is direct proof of all this. Let me show you that, and then directly take the final result here. So let me share my screen. Okay. So I have found this website which explains. Actually, this is slightly complicated, not very complicated, but slightly you have to go into mathematics. So just not to complicate this thing, I will directly show what is the final result over there. So I did not find this like this derivation in many articles. I think this is the only one article where I find a step-by-step process, where if you remember, we are having this function is what like we are implementing on top of theta x, right? So that was given here. So that is taken as g of x, and where your complete prediction y prediction is actually taken as h theta of x. Okay, that is that actually is slightly different nomenclature from what we have used. Okay, so if you do a derivative for this, like what will happen is like so you'll be getting something like this. So finally your answer will be something like this. So this is a proof given where like if you are deriving you are doing derivative for 1 by 1 plus e power minus z. you'll be getting something like 1 by x derivative is minus 1 by x square, and you have to also do derivative for e power minus z again. So which was this, and this again they like made it like that, so that like it forms like this. So 1 minus e power minus z is actually this. So we can write it in this form. So once this is done, then finally your j theta is something like this. When you do derivative, you actually they computed all this, and finally you got your value like this. So let's take only the final result. So instead of going to all the places, so this is the final result. What you got, like our derivative of should be like entire loss function. We are doing partial derivative with respect to theta, right? This is what we need finally. So this we got something like this. If you see, this looks very similar to what we have got during our so what we got during our what you say like the linear regression as well. This looks very similar, like y actual minus y predicted into x is also available, like while it's the same term actually. If you see, this is almost same term what we got like during our linear regression. So let's okay, so this is it. So let's write that formula here and we'll try to implement it. Okay. So I'm making a note of that. Rho j by dou theta equal to sigma I equal it. The sum is always there. Like don't have to worry about it. So theta naught xi minus yi. Okay. So it's just that like treat it as this is y. This is x prediction. Sorry, y prediction minus y actual, and into that particular x related to that theta. Okay, x k of y. Okay, so let me share back my note, and then from that website, like what we got is this. So this is what we have to implement. Like I made a note of the formula what has been derived in that website. So I made a note of this. So where this is like, if for a simplicity, let me not put this. So we know that there will be a sum where we have to do for each of them. So sigma, this can be replaced with y prediction. So let me also simplify it further and write it as y prediction. This is y prediction minus y actual into like x of it. So this is our final formula which we will be using for our like implementation. We will be implementing this formula in our for like in our code. Okay, so we have this gradient descent. So next part is also implementing this gradient descent, like new theta will be theta world minus this one we will be implementing. So that's it. Like once you do this, if you run it for few iterations, finally you'll be getting prediction as like what we have already written, right? 1 by 1 plus e power minus theta x. So you'll be getting this, and then you'll be able to predict. Okay, and similarly precision recall, let's see those things once we predicted, right? Like then we can see about those things. Okay, so let's jump into code. I'll have this as reference. Let me do one thing. I'll do one thing. So let me take a screenshot of this and put it in our notebook itself. So it will be easy for us to refer it back again. So just so in this, what I'll be doing is, let me first put this thing here. Okay, like you can make it like markdown and then insert image. Then you'll be getting that image over here. See, this is what we have written till now, right? So I have pasted it over here. So now this we refer these formulas and implement it. Okay. So this is the next thing. So let me do one thing. Move it up. Call all the code. So import OS is needed and import pandas as PD is needed. Import numpy as np. So initially let's take these three. So whenever maybe because we have e power, right? So math function may be needed. Let's take that as okay. So even log will get covered in that. So let's take these. Yeah, we'll be doing some plotting as well, right? So let's also take matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. So this is one more. So I have run it again. So it's running. So okay, let me save it. So now let's begin. I'll move this cell towards our implementation. So till then I'll be doing it before it. Okay. So let's take help of our. Let me do one thing. Let's take help of like the linear regression which we have implemented before. So let me open that as well. So maybe we'll be using some part of code from here, which we have already implemented, like a kind of gradient descent, like loss functions. These are actually almost similar, right? So let's keep it here, and in case if it is needed, we'll use it. Okay. So now, not this. Okay. So actually, I have implemented it yesterday and then kept it here, like even the logistic function. So apart from that, let's move on. So we need some data, right? Like for training this and the thing. So for that, I actually have one publicly available data. Let me take it from here. Just a moment. So I have taken this data. So I have placed this data file as a CSV file in this folder, in this path, this prime Indians like diabetes. Like this is on diabetes related data set where your some let's run it. Okay. So let me run it. So I've taken this CSV file and I'm reading it, and I am naming these columns as this. So, okay, actually there are no names to that column, but the information is given in that website that the columns are related to this. So I have taken the same. So in this, like now you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 features which were related to patient. So age, like how much is the weight, how much is skin, I don't know what that actually means, and few other tests like which they have done. PLS is plasma or something. I'm not sure about it. Okay, so you have some features about the patient, and finally it has been classified into class 1 or 0, where 1 is a diabetes patient and 0 is not. Okay, so this is a kind of data set what we can find it here. So once you find a data set, now let's say like we have the things ready where we can implement our logistic function. Okay, so because now you have x and x actual and y actual with us, right? So using this, we can actually do a prediction on a new task, right? So before doing that, let's split this data into two parts. So as I discussed during evaluation methods for logistic regression, what we have discussed is like instead of like taking the whole data for training, what we do is we will be splitting that data into two parts in the ratio of 80-20 or maybe anything like it's our wish. So and we'll be training on the 80% data, and the rest of the part we'll use it only for testing, like by evaluating how much is the accuracy of the model. Not we won't use it for training. Okay, So I like instead of we can do this split directly, but for doing we all can also do we all should be doing a random split rather than taking directly like first 100 rows. Let's see the shape first. Let's see the shape. Okay, so there are let me draw it. Okay, so there are 768 rows in this data set. Okay, so these 768 rows, if we are if you want to split like 768 rows into like let me do this length of this one into 0.8, like which will give you like it is if you take integer value of this, let me put int. So you got like 614 rows can go to training set and the rest of the rows can go to a testing set. Okay, so this is how we have to split, but this 614 should not be like first 614 and the last 614 you take it as like test set. We should not be doing that way. Instead we should randomly pick 614 from here and then the rest we can take it into testing set. So this actually instead of we can implement this, like it wouldn't take much time, but just to save our time, there is a package available within like scikit-learn which will do it. Okay, so for a kind of simplicity, let's not take all the parameters at the moment. For our implementation purpose, let's take only one feature. Like we know that how to extend from one feature to many features. So initially let's try with like only single feature and single output. Okay, let's take only x have one variable. Let's treat it that way. And then what I have done is I mean like what I am saying is, so instead of taking all the columns, let me take only a column like weight. Okay, how is weight related to diabetes? So we are on let's say we are only calculating weight and then trying to predict if the person has diabetes or not. Okay, let's do only that part. So like we won't be like very much accurate, but still just for our simplicity purpose, let's do only that. So I'm taking only these two columns. I'm replacing it with this data frame. Okay. So then your output would be something like this. So where you only have mass and you're finally calculating class here. Okay. So and there is a package inside like scikit-learn which will do this split. So what it will do is like where you give x here and y here and see like how much is the test size like you want, like it is 20% split, right? Like so 0.2. So if you do this way, then what will come is like automatically the x values, I mean like mass values will get splitted into 80-20% and will be stored in these two. And similarly, y values will get splitted into 80-20% ratio and will be stored in these two. So okay, so let's run that. So it's taking some time. Okay, so now it has run, right? So let's see the shape. So it is 614 as we thought, like, right? So 80% will be 614, right? So we have thought that already. And similarly, x text will be of shape 514. Okay, so this is what we got, right? Similarly, y train and x y test will also be same. Okay, so let's now let's say now data is ready with us. We'll be able to train the model. So for training the model, how we can do it is like let me take the things like I have implemented initially. So this is like yesterday, if you remember, we are speaking about like function like this, right? Which 1 by 1 plus e power minus x. So in case if you plot this function, it will come like this. So this is what I was actually showing yesterday. So what this will be doing is, let's see, like if our z value like greater than 0, your output will be greater than 0.5. So, and if this z value is less than 0, your output will be less than 0.5. So this will be in class 0, this will be in class 1. That is what we have discussed yesterday. So just for our purpose, like I'm plotting it, just nothing in that. I'm taking a few values in z and then plotting 1 by 1 plus e power minus x. Like that is what this is, and it's just a plot between those two. Like it has nothing to do with our implementation, just for a kind of idea how actually the sigmoid function will be. So now let's start implementing. Let's see the formula what we have and let's start implementing. So we need something like this, y prediction. So let me define kind of predict. Okay, and for this what do you need? We need theta and we need x, right? So theta. So it would be always better if we make it inside a logistic regression, inside a class. That would always be ideal, because we'll be using the same variable names always, right? So that sometimes may create some kind of problems with two variables. So we'll be giving x comma theta. Okay, so these two I'm using, and what we should be also doing is okay, so what will be y prediction is y prediction will be equal to 1 by 1 plus e power 1, right? 1 divided by 1 plus like there is a in math dot exponential we can do that, and even NumPy has that exponential of, if you see this is what we are showing. So np dot exp is like 1 by e power minus this one. So and here minus 1 into, and we have to use x like theta transpose x or x theta, like that is left to us what we should be using. So what did I use in last let me take that reference. If you see, so while implementation, most of the time we are taking this x theta instead of this one. So if you remember, like this matrix, we are multiplying using np dot. If you can recall it from our last classes in linear regression, what we have done is this x into theta, we have done it like this. Okay, so the same thing like we are doing it here, np dot x. Let me write input x only, so it will align with our previous okay, so okay, so this is what is y prediction, and let's return it back. So this is about y prediction, right? So this you are clear. I hope it is clear now. So now the next step would be okay, what is happening? So what would be the next step? If you remember, now we have implemented this part. Now the next step is to implement this loss function. Okay, let's implement loss function as well. So let's see this loss function, how we can create. Okay, so self dot, and what are the things required? If you can see this formula, we need this y actual and y prediction, only these two, right? Okay, so y actual, let's y actual, I'm calling it as input y, if you can see. And similarly, okay, and similarly this is y pred, right? Let me take it from here. So okay, oh, it has come twice. Okay, so these two, how we should implement loss now? loss equal to, so it will be, it will be very simple, right? Like just y log that one, and log we can't directly use log, like that won't be recognized by Python. We have to use either math.log or maybe np.log. Okay, so but I have seen in many implementations, so instead of doing this, like I'm quite surprised to see this, that most of the cost functions, oh, they are using this. Yeah. So okay, so I have seen like in few of articles yesterday. I was just like going through the material available in online. So I could in few of the implementations they did not go for this log. They are just doing y act into y predict. But let's go stick to the formula what we are using here and use it. Okay. So -1 into, and then y actual is like this one into y prediction. So y prediction is that one np dot log of y prediction. So and next the form. Okay, let me put one more bracket. Plus we have 1 minus y input into log of 1 minus y. One minus y. Okay, so this again, let me put it in a bracket. Okay, so now we have implemented this loss function. Okay. Okay, so second part is also done. No, second part is not done yet. We only have done till here. We also need this thing. So which is mean, right? So how we should be doing is loss dot mean. So this would be enough. This will take care of the thing, and it will give you the final thing. Okay. So let me recheck with this. Yes, so that is how it is done. Yes, dot mean. So that would be enough for doing it. Okay, so the next step would be, if you go a bit down, so this is the main part, like which is a gradient descent. Okay, let me also implement that gradient descent. Okay, so self comma. So what are the parameters? What we need here is so y prediction, y actual, and a corresponding theta. Okay, so this is actually very much relevant to a multivariable class, like, but not like it is all. It can be taken for a single variable as well. But let me see, like, refer from previous one, like what has been taken here. So it's the same thing. Okay. So what happens is, if you take this, if you there are, if for a, let's join from a second meeting, like this is going to end. Like we are seeing like gradient descent now, what are required for this gradient descent. So what are required is, so if you see this, if it is for y prediction, y actual, and that corresponding x, right? So this, if you remember, we have implemented a similar thing here. So if you see our gradient descent, so let me use the same name here. So it will be, so let's following the same convention. If you see this as a gradient descent, which we have implemented during our like linear regression, if the formula looks almost similar to what we have you are using here, right? So if you see this, anyway we have to take a mean anyway. So y prediction minus y actual. See, this looks same, exactly same. So actually we can use this part directly. Okay, instead of doing re-implementing it again, we can use this part. So let me take that. I'm wrong, okay, so let's see if this will work or not. Actually, let me refer a bit down where we have made all as a kind of a class, right? So let's take it from there. Those will be much accurate comparatively. Okay, so this is where actually we have taken a gradient descent. This as well contains this number of iterations as well. So let's take only this part. Oh, this is fine. Okay, so what's next? So this can be used for multi-class as well. Now with the kind of implementation what we are doing, so we thought we'll be using only single class, right? So now this can be used for multi-class as well. So which is direct -1 into 1 by n. So which we forgot to write it here, but this 1 by n is still there at this level. Okay, so 1 by n into, so dot of this x is this x multiplication here. So this x multiplication, and then y input, y prediction minus y output. So that as well you can see it here. So oh, this is where we need to slightly change maybe. Yeah, because this is not directly our y prediction, right? So this is where like we need some change, because we want this y prediction rather than just dot of theta, right? Because like here our y prediction is not just np dot theta. Instead, this is this big one. So what we'll do is we'll call this function here. Let me call this function self dot predict, and then give input as this x and theta. Okay, so that will give us y prediction. Okay, so all brackets are also fine. So now is it clear here? Like what we are doing is input y actual minus y prediction, and this is like multiplying with x here, this x multiplication, and then we are taking a sum. So actually if you do dot product, it will automatically be taking a sum of all those. So and just that we have finally we have to do this divided by m number of values. So that then it will give you this. So okay, now this is also ready. So now we are giving this alpha as well. So it will get computed and final theta will be getting. So this is it. So let's now what we should be doing is train, right? We have to define this train. So this also we can refer from here, like what we have previously implemented, and take it. Where is the train? Did we not implement it separately? Okay. Okay, fine. We can take. Oh, this is slightly different. Okay, let me put like train, and where. Let's actually do. This is what we should be implementing even in our real case. So you have input x, input y, right? And you will be needing this input theta. We'll be initializing it inside. So let's not have it. So alpha, we'll be providing it ourselves. Alpha is the learning rate, right? So and number of iterations. Okay, so these are the things like which are needed, which will be externally giving to model. Even in case of our, like if you use directly the predefined functions like scikit-learn, still we'll be doing the same, where we'll be using these things. Okay, we have to give our learning rate manually. We have to give our number of iterations as well. So okay, so next point is like in case if you got this x and y, we have to run it in a loop for iterations, right? So iteration count. Okay, let me put it like this. Instead of using I in range, something like that, I have kept like something which actually is more relevant to length. So no need of length of all. Directly if you take this, it will be 0 till that point. Okay, so usually we'll give 0 comma this thing, right? Both are similar. So one after you do this, so the next step would be what we should be doing initially we have to put theta. Initially, if you remember, we have to give our initial theta values. So let's initialize our theta here. If you remember theta, even here, if you can refer, so theta, what we have taken is what is the x values. So if there are like 3 x values, x is the length of t, so 3 comma 1, that is what we have taken there, right? Similarly, for our case as well, we'll be doing the same. So what we'll be doing is theta equal to np dot zeros of, so we don't know x value directly, right? So there we manually entered. So here let it automatically take depending on our input x. So length of input x would be same, right? So if you do it like that, comma 1. So this will be our theta initially. So before it is going into this for loop, initializing it that way. So once we have initialized, what we should do now, it is in a loop, right? So how should we loop is, we have to compute gradient descent, which will be through which we will be getting mu theta. Okay, so we have to use self dot to call this function internally, and input x, input y. We need these two information, and as well as this theta information as well, and then alpha. So alpha is also alpha here. So let's put this in. Okay, so finally what will happen is it will do the gradient descent and we'll be getting the new theta here. So now you got the new theta, and this should run for like number of iterations, maybe 100 iteration, 200, what we provide here. So it will run till that point. Okay, so after it run, like also we would like to measure our loss rate at various points. So let's take that as well. So loss function, if you see, we are directly, we need this y prediction as an output, but we are not actually calculating it separately. We can calculate it as well. So let's calculate it. This y pred, something like this, equal to, just not to mismatch with those things. So which will be equal to, so we have a function for that. We don't have to calculate separately. So we have input x, we have theta, and then this we can supply to this loss function here. Okay, so you have input y, we have this input y, y pred is this y, I wrote it as like this y pred, that's okay. So this is what, from this we'll be getting the loss function, right? So let's like just like how we have done in our previous case, right? So what we have done is we have stored all the losses separately, and we have like plotted it in the end, right? The same thing, let's do it again. So let's take the same name, that's okay. Okay, so let me take the same name, J history, which is like J is some name like loss, like many people instead of error they use it like J. Okay, so this I am appending to a list so that we'll plot it later. Okay, so this is it, I guess. Finally, we have to return our theta, because like if you know theta, you'll be getting all the values, right? So for theta, and let's also take this J history because we would like to plot it. Okay, so this is what we have implemented. So let's run it and see if it is doing good or bad or something. Okay, so for now, this is what is the complete implementation of our logistic regression. So now the next step would be, this is just for our reason, like it has nothing to do with what we have done. So now this X train and Y train. So these are the things which are required. Let me copy those from there. Okay, so these are the things required. So initially for training, we will be using only the X train and Y train, not the this one. Okay, so let's take this. So we actually have forgot to do one step. So let's run it without that and then see. I'll give this alpha value as something like 0.01, and input X and input Y should be this Y train and X train. And this is a class, right, which we should be calling. So let's call that class first. So what is the class name? Is logistic regression. Let me call that. Okay, and here I kept a name like this, and I'm calling. Okay, so many people, you can also keep something like this, which will be model dot train. Okay, so and instead of train, many use this dot fit. I'm making it slightly aligned, these namings slightly aligned to our scikit-learn namings. So this is how it will be, and you will do this model. This will be name will be like model and model dot fit if you do. So let's see what it will return. Okay, so it should be returning us these two, theta and this one. So let's take theta comma loss history. So these, let it be stored here. Okay, theta and loss history. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, so there is an issue with divisible by 0. So where can it be? Like there is some way. So one issue. Oh, it has me a warning, but it did not give. So okay, so it has jumped very far. So just a thing. So if you see our X value, theta value has moved to some place because we actually missed, like some place we used X theta and some place maybe we used the different convention. So I'll do a thing, I'll keep it here. So actually entire implementation is correct, like no wrong with that. Just that maybe we are doing some wrong with this computation here. So let me check that once again. So what is it? It's a kind of debugging. Let's do some kind of a debugging here. I think some issue is with this itself. So let me take loss function which I have implemented it earlier. So this is the same gradient what it will do. So okay, so gradient is just a gradient, right? So okay, so let me do one thing instead of using this. Okay, if it is online, let me comment this line. Okay, so I'm taking some code from what I have done yesterday and I'll modify it to what we are doing now. So instead it will be self.predict x input x comma input theta. So I'll give an explanation as well. Let me first complete this. So okay, so this is after sigmoid. You got finally after sigmoid value. So this is y prediction. So let me call it y prediction because this is what we are using it from long time. So this y prediction we are subtracting with this one, and then the error we can directly use it here, and so this is what they are multiplying with y instead of x. Okay, so let's use this and see like what will be our final values. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, what will be the theta now? Again, it's the same thing. Like, so it's an error here. Okay, it did not run there. Yeah, error is here. There is one more extra bracket. So because of which it did not run. Now it has run, I guess. So let me take it. Y is not defined. Okay. So Y is our input Y, right? Okay, now actual problem starts. So okay, let me leave it there and use the previous one. I think the problem which I told, right, it will which we made some mistake. Maybe that is an issue. Let me go there as instead of this. So in case if it is required, we'll again come back to this. Okay, so what should be an issue is like this X train and Y train. If you remember in linear regression, what we have taken is a kind of, if you take this thing, right, like X train and shape of this thing, it will be 3 comma 1, like some rows comma 1, rows comma 2, something like that. And one more thing, we did not add x0 here, right? If you remember last time, we added x0 and then to top of it, we have used it. If you can see, so x1, x2, we have added x0 as well, x0 as 1, right? This we did not do here. So that let's also add that part. Okay, so to this, I'm doing something like this. So where, so I have added x0 here. So, and your output would be like this. So your X train and Y train would change, the shapes would change. Let's run and see. So it will be 2 columns now. Okay, so that would be a difference. And similarly, let's also, this it should be single or not. Let's do and then find out. I think it should also be something like this because we are doing matrix multiplication, right? So okay, so let me run it again. Wow, we got an issue. Where is it? So where we are multiplying this with that. Just a moment. So X input is of dimension this. Okay. So and theta. Okay. So this is an issue. It's a issue at the beginning level itself. It's not just length of theta. So it should be dot shape of 1. So means like how many columns we have, like it should be based on that, right? So this is an issue from beginning, like we are looking at some different issues. So now this will work. Yes. Okay, so finally you got theta, some values here. So like let's see how this will have. Okay, let me now, what we should be doing is for a new values of X, let's say X value is something like, we have one X naught as one first one and like some value 30. Okay, for this value, how we can what output, if you want to get the output, np dot array, this is your, let us say, let's see X dot shape. No, not this one. So we have to put one more bracket, 1 comma 2. Okay, so this is our X. So if you want to get a new value, what we should be doing is X dot predict model dot like predict, we have to give our X comma theta, which we have learned already. Okay, so if you do that, so it has given us the probability like it is 0.66% probability that that guy has a cancer, sorry, not a diabetes. Okay, so this is how we have learned now. Okay, like finally, this is what we do. In reality, what will happen is this theta, we won't be providing it always like by ourselves. Instead, it will stay within this. So what they will be doing is, so define. So once you initialize, so those things will actually get, okay, self dot theta equal to, so actually these values, right? So this will actually go there, and dot theta will be shared across each function. You don't have to again provide it here. It will be stored within the model itself. So let's not do that now. Okay, like, I'm not doing it. I just want to say like what will happen. Okay, so that is about it. So finally, we are able to predict something. So now that we are able to predict and successfully implement logistic regression, the next step would be to see a kind of how what are the kind of ways to evaluate your model, right? So before that, let me show you one thing like which I have plotted it. Maybe we can also plot it over here. But this plot actually we can do it only with one single variable. So, but in case we have multiple variables, so this won't be possible, right? So, so this is one plot. So where actually it has been predicted here, like the blue one is there, right? Where it is showing x like this. So all those are actual values. So if you plot between mass and this one, right? So the ones which are here underground, that those points are actually like diabetes points. So, and these points are actually kind of what you say, like guys who have patients who have diabetes, and these are the ones like who don't have diabetes. Okay, so let me take this and plot it here. So instead of so okay, we don't need all that, like we can directly have this, maybe the prediction part. Okay, so let's take, now we should be like we have something, right? So let's plot it on test. So initially nothing is there. Let me plot the x text, what we have splitted, right? We have to evaluate our data. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to plot x text and y test. Oh, it's the same, right? Okay. So, but this one also has x naught, so it will be multi-dimensional. So let me only take the first one. Okay, no, not like comma 1. So is the second column x naught? I'm skipping the x naught column and I'm plotting only the mass column over there. Okay, so what is that saying? Slice is an invalid key. Okay, so let me see what actually this says. Oh, x test dot shape. This is one irritating thing about. Okay, so out of which now I want to take all the rows, but only first column. It was saying it can't be sliced. What is this? So how about this one? There is a key. Okay. Oh, so it's a pandas, right? So it's still not this one. So actually, we should be doing something like this. So if you have to convert it back to NumPy, and on top of it, do this. So this will work. Okay. So this is what I have taken. So these are all the arrays, numerical values which we have. So let me take that, so that I'm trying to plot it here. Okay, let's see what we are getting. So this is what we got. So this marker x actually, in case if you remove it, will be just dot. You can also keep it with something else as well. So just it will be dots like this. Okay, so our values data set actually contains this. So this is our like patients like mass where there is no diabetes, and this is a patient's mass like where who has diabetes. So actually these are not really separable, right? So we can't put a threshold at 35 that if they are greater than 35 kg, like you have it like they have diabetes, something like that, because you have it in all distribution, right? So actually you won't be getting a very good accuracy. That is actually because of data. So but let's see what did it predict. Okay, so on top of it I am also plotting something like this. Okay, so let's take y prediction. uh, what I'm doing in this line is, so if it is greater than 0.5, I'm taking it as 1, and if it is less than 0.5, like I'm taking it as 0. This is a kind of, if you see this, like what we have done is we have changed, like if this is a single line implementation of your for loop. So where if our p value is if by prediction value is greater than 0.5, so it will be changed, converted to 1, and if it is less than, it will be converted to 0. Okay, so this is phi prediction. Now let's plot our y prediction versus this thing. So what I am doing is I am plotting it in a different color so that we'll be able to identify between these two. So before that, let's calculate y prediction. We did not do that. Model dot predict, where you take x text and theta. We have theta also right here. Where is that theta? Which we have learned. Okay, here. So if you are giving these two, we are able to get it. Okay, so let me run this. On top of the same plot, I'm trying to do this plot as well. So if it is not very clear, then we will move it to a different. Okay, this is already here. Okay, so y predict, we can call it in a different color, red maybe. Okay, let's run it. Okay, so what did it do? So it has predicted all as a kind of 1, right? You can see here. So that is a kind of prediction which we have got. So which is crazily not true. So how we can find like what actually it has predicted is, here it is not very clear on like for analyzing things, right? So what we should be able to do is, so there is a something like in the implementation in scikit-learn, there is an implementation for this. So let's take those directly. Confusion metrics. Okay, so same thing like the metrics what we are talking about, right? So same things are actually implemented directly here. So we can make use of those, or it is possible for us to implement by ourselves. But as of now, for simplicity, let's use from here. Okay, so let me take from scikit-learn metrics, import confusion metrics. Okay, so let me take this. So this is a confusion matrix which I want to know, like the thing like what we have discussed in the last session. So for this, what should be the inputs is true y actual and y predicted. These two are what we need. So confusion matrix of y actual is y test, right? So here you have these things. So let me copy all from there. So let me use it here. So y actual is y test, and y prediction is what we have to calculate. So let me calculate y prediction as like model dot predict, and then what is the value from there. So this line, entire line which we used earlier, right? So we can copy that and use it. So let me do it here and see if we are able to get something, or else like because this will be given in points, right? So it is saying the same. It should be binary, but not a continuous target. So what we should do is we have to use this thing, like we have to, if it is greater than 0, greater than 0.5, we are making it 1, and if it is less than 0.5, we are making it as 0. Okay, so let's do it now. See, we got this confusion matrix where this is prediction, this is actual. Actually, we have this is actual, right? So if you can see, all of them, like it has predicted like as ones. You can also see that from graph. So here, so where out of there are like total 154 samples, out of which our model is predicting all of them as what you say as a diabetic patient, but actually it's not true, right? So this is a kind of analysis which we can do from this. Okay, so to like what can be a reason is, like if you can see this graph, so let me plot only actual graph. Okay, so with the inputs what we have taken, it is something like this. Okay, so even though you got some value like this, it actually is not so accurate, right? It can't be easily separatable, that if your mass is greater than 35, it is like greater than 1, it is class 1, and class less than it is class 0, something like that. So this variable is not at all useful for prediction. So let's do one thing this time. Let's take everything else. Okay, let's take all entire values here. So let me do that. Okay, so I'm running it as whole again. So taking all the values from here. So these are already available. So we can take those. Okay, except class, because class is y. Okay, so x0 will have this x0. So now we are adding all the values for there. So, and from here, let me again run this and add this. So now you have all this again like x0 as well. So and running this, see now the number of this we don't need. So if we run this, so let me run this as well. Okay, it has run. Finally you got a theta. If you see, the theta values are more, right? So it is because theta 0, theta 1, theta 2, theta 2, so on, like so many, because like depending on number of our columns, it will change. So this actually won't be valid, because our now we have to give all the theta values for how many we have. Okay, so let me not do that. So this text also won't be valued. Only this thing matters here. See now, so it has it had a quite a change, right? So if you see this, out of all, we it is predicting many as zeros now. Okay, so and what is the actual reality is something different. So if you see, let me do one thing. So which is actual, which is prediction? This is always a kind of confusion for me. So some kind of true labels on X. Okay, so if you see this, so what ideally it should be is this, and this should be more, and these two should be 0. That is what we have discussed yesterday, right? The true positives and true negatives. These are like false positives, false negatives. So this false positives and false negatives should be 0, and these should be greater, right? So that is how finally we should be getting. And similarly, and let's also compute the precision recall those measures. For that, instead of we computing it, so classification, so it report. So okay, so there is something like classification report, where all these things will be directly computed by itself, so we don't have to worry about any of those. So let me do that. So let me import that as well here. Okay, so I am moving it. So I have imported it. So for using it, it's same thing, like we have to give these two, and it will be giving those values. So let's see what it has given. So if you do print of this, see, so this is a kind of report what you get for class 0. It is having a precision of 71 and recall as like 0.95 and F1 score as like 82 0.82. Okay, and total there are like 110 values of them, out of which it is actually detecting 105 as a class 0 and 5 it is misdetecting as class 5. Okay, and similarly if you take class 1, it is very poor, it is not doing well here. Okay, precision is just 0.29 and you have recall as this one. Okay, this is because out of all your values like 44 one class 1s what you actually have, out of which only 2 are being detected here. Okay, this model is quite bad in detecting diabetes, but it is good in detecting it's a not diabetes, right? So this is a kind of conclusion what we can make. And then what we will be doing is, so in total these are the accuracies what you'll be getting, because out of 154 it is correctly detecting these many things like this we'll be getting. Okay, so finally what you should be doing is, we should be tuning our alpha value to something else and then again see if we are able to get some better values or not. So such way, like, or make the iterations more, maybe instead of 100 we put it like 1000. We have to tune our parameters such these we call these as hyper parameters which we'll be giving, and finally getting these values. Okay, so that is how we should be doing. So let me run it again. So now what is it? So now it is much bad. So if you see here, so it has gone reverse, like by because like we kept learning rate very small, right? So it has not learned well. So we have to play with these parameters and finally get it. Okay, so the tuning of these models, like we can see it later, but as of now, so maybe I can give it as an assignment and share this code to you. Like, you find a perfect values for alpha and like number of iterations and see like which is doing good. Okay, you can also plot the J history and taking the help of like from the code like of linear regression. You can also add a plotting function here and also plot, and from that you can check if it is overfitting or underfitting and see what are you going to get. Okay,